Yes, this webinar will be recorded.
Great.
So what we'll do is we'll give people a couple minutes to file in. So I know it starts at 6, but we usually wait till like 2 minutes, 3 minutes after to get started.
Okay.
And as you guys come in, you can just say hey in the chat.
How do I even see that? What do I do to see that?
You should be able to expand the Zoom webinar screen to the chat, and it should be to your right.
Let me see. Oh, this one just does a split screen. It just shows participants, but it doesn't show me anything.
You should say host and panelists. So it's me and you.
Yeah. And then it shows me attendees. It doesn't tell me anything else yet. Okay, that's cool. Okay. All right, let's do this real quick. What is the other one? All right. Right.
So there's Emily and Len so far. Hey, Emily. Hey, Len.
Let's get back here. Okay. Oh, hey. She said hi. Hello. I see the chat. All my other ones are private. I'm not used to this one. This is dope.
Yeah, so this is it's cool to manage when you have the two, and then sometimes you have to go into the Q&A question part, and that gets a little tricky, but it's okay.
Okay, no problem. I'm with the learning and experience, and that's what it's all about. Okay. For silent. Okay.
So
great.
I guess we're 3 minutes in. We can get started just with the basics, and then we'll get into the questions in a little while. So
I'm ready.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Yellowbrick Sessions. My name is Tamika, and I am the Director of Community Engagement and Partnerships at Yellowbrick. Today, we are starting a new conversation piece, and it's called Yellowbrick Sessions. And it's basically a fireside chat with people who are creating a lot of noise and buzz in a variety of industries. So it could be fashion today, it could be streetwear tomorrow, it could be sneakers, it could be film and TV. It just so happens that we have someone by the name of Mugzy McFly, which I know if you're on Instagram, you've seen him, but he is making a ton of noise, not only in the streetwear category and in the fashion category, but newly noisemaker in the sneakers category. So he's going to today and tell us all the things that he's been doing, all the things he's going to do, and just give us some insight as to how he got his global brand to where it is today with, hear me when I say this, no investors, not one. He did it all on his own. So this is a very, grab a pen and paper, lots of gems. Trust me when I say, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mugzy McFly. Hey, Mugzy.
Hey, guys. Thank you for having me. Don't mind that. Don't mind that.
So first and foremost, I want to congratulate you. I know you just did a show, actually like the weekend, a couple of days ago.
So still recovering, yeah.
I saw the recap and it looked amazing. So can you just give me some backstory as to what line this was, what you debuted, who was there, how it went down? Give me all the details.
Okay, so Usual Suspects is actually, that's the name of the show. And Usual Suspects is me taking I used to be a party promoter, so I took my birthday party. My birthday is October, and I always do the show the second week of October, first week, second week. And I took that attention and I took it to my brand. But I didn't do it solo. So every year I'd feature new up and coming entrepreneurs and people that maybe their first fashion show. I feel like the Bronx needed an outlet for those people as well as models, because where can you go as an inspiring model and get work or get exposure? Even media, photographers and videographers. So Usual Suspects, the one I just had, I think this was year 8. I showed 2 different runways. I kind of I kind of don't like to live by the normal seasons. So I do a lot of heavy fall winter, but I still do like summer spring because my core, they travel and they vacation. So my swimsuits do great in winter, December, January, February. So I don't really stick to it like that. I don't really have a spring line, summer line. It's heavy fall winter, but I do everything. So, October and Usual Suspects is like my reset button where if you missed it, let's start again at the top of the year. I featured 4 different brands this year. The last 2 years I took off because of COVID. So I wasn't able to like incorporate everybody else because of the limit. So this year we came back strong and had 4 other designers, all from New York City and Westchester, real close to me. And it was amazing.
It looked amazing. I was like, wow, this is really like, and not only were you showcasing your stuff, but you were actually giving a platform to local designers who are on the same, not the same exact path as you, but you guys are all trying to do, or you guys are all doing the same thing. So kudos to you for allowing to, some people don't want to share that. A lot of people are super selfish in that regard. So
yeah,
you for even sharing that shine and letting, other people showcase their stuff. But I guess let's get into the meat and potatoes. When did you know that you wanted to be a designer? Like what was that turning point?
That's a real tricky question. I feel like subconsciously it was always there, but like if I had to pick an exact moment, I remember the last straw was a friend of mine was making a brand. I had ideas and I kept telling him I went to a bunch of other local designers that I knew and I went to them like, let me help you. I just want to market. I just want to model. I just want to do whatever I could. And they weren't really, receptive to what I was saying. So I was like, and I was just venting to my guy and I'm like, man, I want to do a brand so bad. And I mean, I want to be a part of a brand so bad and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, well, I'm making a brand. And I was like, oh, that's dope. What's up? And he's like, nah, do your own. Kind of was a little hurt at a second, but I'm like, wait a minute. Why not? I mean, I've done all this research running around. I know clothes, I live it. Why not just make the gap that I think is missing in the world? And that was the moment. 2013. Yeah.
Nice. So basically you came with an idea and the person was like, no, I don't want your idea. Do your own. And so you did. And here you are. Yeah. Now.
It's funny. It was smaller. It was more so like, I just want to give you a t-shirt idea. And then it became just do a whole brand. And it was like, oh, yeah.
I feel like with streetwear, because everyone says this, it starts with the t-shirt. Like
it does, absolutely.
The concept of streetwear and anything you want to do always starts with a t-shirt. And then it kind of evolves into other things. It goes from t-shirts to the denim, from t-shirts to the crew neck, to the hoodie, then to the denim.
Yes.
I feel like there's a pattern as far as that's concerned. And you started right where most brands, I feel like, start with that t-shirt and go from there. So I know you have college experience. So
yes.
What did you study when you went to college and how does that influence what you're doing right now?
I went to St. John's University and got my most expensive receipt ever, which I call a diploma. But I studied accounting. I always liked numbers. I was really good at math. And I thought that's what I wanted to do. And then I was sadly mistaken. I finished. I got my degree, 4 years and everything. It took me about 2 years after graduation to get a job, and I hated it. And that was 10 years ago, and I haven't had a job since. So
I feel like you're so many of us with that expensive receipt that we're still trying to cash in on.
Yes. No returns.
Right? You can't return this one. And they're always like, please come again. But you're like, not for another.
No, I'm good.
Not coming back.
Else for that.
Not coming back. So what are some of the lessons that you took from college studying and I guess playing with numbers, and how did you apply that to your current endeavor? Because I feel like how you got to where you're at had a lot to do with numbers and planning. So how did the two come into play?
Well, college played a lot of roles, but not even just the curriculum, but like even just traveling from the Bronx all the way to Queens and being like one of the only Bronx guys there also influenced my style and how I came about with the business. But accounting specifically, like you really account for numbers and trends and know what is beneficial to make more money. And I use that now. I use that every day where I could drop 5 items and know like, okay, I need to put more attention to that one because the trend seems to be going where this one is selling out within a week. This one might sell a little bit longer. Maybe I'll leave it and remarket it again because of how it slowly sells. But one could be a quick hitter. And it really is accounting. And I watch trends a lot. That's all I do. So it was beneficial. That part was beneficial. I give college that much.
Nice. So you said it took you 2 years to find a job. What was your first job straight out of college?
I worked at the Natural Resources Defense Council, NRDC. I think it was on like 19th Street. It was a non-for-profit. And I got the job through a temp agency. Temp agencies, this might be one of the main reasons I never got a job again, because temp agencies, I don't know how they are now. I used to call them every week to tell them that you're still available and pray for jobs. Finally got one. They collect my check and give me whatever they want to give. And the job was just real old school people. I have a full degree and I'm mailing letters, writing folders, and I just felt bad. Like, I spent all that money to do this. I don't need a degree for this. I want to do accounting. I'm in accounts payable. Let me do something. And God bless them for letting me go. Yes, God bless them.
So what was the inspiration behind Sign by McFly? Aside from your friend not wanting to let you share his idea, and I'm kind of glad he did it because I feel like he could have potentially taken your ideas and run with them. So aside from that experience, what was the inspiration behind launching Sign by McFly?
Basically creating what I needed and couldn't afford or didn't see in the market. You know, at the time, of course, I'm coming out of school with tons of debt, no job. I refused to get a regular job. I'm like, I have a degree. That's below me. So I don't want to, you know, muddle my mind with working at little side hustles. I want to focus on the real thing, the real career. And, you know, as I sat there, you know, it's funny, though, 2 years sitting back actually added to like my style and everything, because that's all I'm really looking at. Like, I'm going out and I'm seeing things, nothing else to cloud my judgment. But that's what it was. Like, I'll go into a store and maybe something is too expensive, but it's quality. I want to be able to recreate that quality, but not hit somebody over the head. Or maybe I take home something, and I used to customize pieces when I used to get them, and I was really small. So, you know, them days, it was really still kind of like the baggier clothing. So for me to find what I wanted and my size was really hard, really, really hard. So I kind of created what I wanted, and then whatever I think the market needed at the same time. So that was really it. It's just desperation, honestly. Survival. I wanted to be a fly guy. And it's like, how else can I do this? I can't do it the regular way just by shopping. So create what I want.
So in true entrepreneur fashion, you identified a void in the market, whether it was something you wanted or something you felt other people needed to have, or even the sizing and so on and so forth. And you put yourself in position to fix said void. So that's true entrepreneur spirit. Now, financially, how did you make that happen? Because we all know that starting a business is something that requires funds. And so how did you make that happen with, I guess, I don't want to say temp agency salary and assume that's what you had. So how did you make it happen?
So wait, I want you to know that when I worked at the temp agency and when I started the clothing, I didn't have no job. So my temp agency thing lasted 4 months. So I was basically using that to get to and from work and lunch. So it was nothing. Nothing was left. I buy my fly sneakers here and there. Nothing was left. What I started doing, I wasn't, like I said, I was a party promoter. So that was really I probably made more money promoting parties. So I started promoting parties in 2009. I graduated, like the year I graduated, I started promoting parties. In the meantime, no job, whatever, 2 years. Finally got a job. And in between the job, I'm party promoting because it didn't make sense. And then it's like, you know, the job eats up so much of your life. It's like I came and work is heavy. So I kind of have to fall back for a minute. And as soon as I lost a job, I was right back into that. So first it was the party promotion. But even then, the party promotion was really hard to get that kind of money because, you know, you promote and make parties in groups. So the biggest thing that helped me, honestly, is I had one credit card. was telling the story. And it's funny, I read a story, I took this story from someone else, I seen it, and a guy, and I was trying to like figure out how to make this brand. It was like successful business, t-shirt brand from college student. And he's like, he maxed out multiple credit cards, but I only had one. So I'm like, wow. So for my very first collection, I just went, boom, took my credit card. It barely had $1,000 limit, maxed out, and I said, yo, it's either I'm gonna file for bankruptcy or I'm gonna be able to pay this card back. So, so that's what I did. It was a little bit of party promotion and then maxed out that card for that first collection. And you know, I will also say that another thing I can't forget is that I had a good support system. Like I had friends model for me for free and stuff like that. People started putting me in shows real early, and that kind of helped me just build my name. Then eventually it helped me financially.
Mm-hmm. So after you, and notice, he said that he maxed out the card. He didn't say he didn't pay it back. So let's not take part of it and max out the cards and try to start the business. But
No.
just know that your credit, especially when you're starting a business, is super valuable because you're going to need as you move forward. So don't take half the story, take the whole story. He did max out the card. He paid it back, but
a long time paid it back. Yes.
Yeah, but that's how he got his start. And you know, some people are afraid to do that. You kind of put all of your eggs in the basket and said, you know, this is what I want to do. And then what made you take fashion seriously? Like after you did that and you started seeing, I guess, the response, what made you take it seriously and say, yup, this is what I'm doing?
Well, it's funny because that first collection was tough. It didn't move at all. I always recall 2013. I had a lot of like all over print t-shirts, not just a regular white t-shirt with a name and a print. You know, I tell people there was 3 different kind of brands. Mine, which I didn't know anyone else to do it, had all over print. The designs were crazy. Sublimation print is probably the most expensive print there is. My shirts were $55 and up. Had my other, I knew a couple other people who had the $25 shirts were just regular, a logo in the front, maybe one in the back. That's it. Then, if everybody recalls, I remember Summer Jam, 2013, it was all leather, real leather. Even the fake leather was expensive. And those people were thriving. But I was like, how can little old me, that doesn't know how to cut and sew or could afford the fake leather either, how am I do that? And even with leather, it was so hard because you need branding. It wasn't like logo crazy, it was branding. So whoever was good in leather, they had it already. And that's an expensive mistake to make. So I actually sat back and I didn't really catch any traction for maybe a year and some change. And the moment I knew, I kind of prayed on it and I had signs and I was like, you know what? If I should not, I don't want to have a plan B. Say, if I should be doing this, give me a sign. And I swear within that week, one guy, I still remember his name and he lives in Atlanta. He ordered all my shirts. Every single one. I don't know this guy. I still don't know this guy. One day I'm gonna find him, but I know his name. And he ordered all my shirts and I looked, said, all right, I asked for a sign, no more. I'm just gonna do it. Stick with it. Simple as that. Really simple as that.
When you ask for the sign, you don't question where it comes from. You just heed the warning and keep it pushing. So Emily asks, have you ever considered crowdsourcing for funding?
I did a long time ago. I was a part of a program with, was it Jeff Staple? He was doing something and it kind of made you build up something where you kind of pitch your brand. That was before I even came out. And I thought about it. And I'm really honest with like my feelings and how I move. So like I come from party promotion. I don't like to be like an over promoter. So if I made a party, I'd rather my friends, females and crowds and people experience it to promote the party. It's not me, buy my water with my name on it. I'm quiet. Oh, I heard Mugzy does this. I like the word of mouth. That's how I was. So it's like, I didn't want to follow that same path. So.
That's an absolute fact. That's exactly how you move too. Super stealth.
Yes.
Super
exactly.
So.
And I also do think that it's just a certain stigma with like that kind of, I feel like people skip steps that way. So if you were to get crowdsourcing, at that time, if I had $20,000, I might not know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you should go step by step. Have one thing, build the money, re-up, next thing, and keep failing and winning, and then you'll have a real brand. If you just got the money slapped in your face and go ahead and did it, I think 9 times out of 10, you're gonna fail.
That makes a lot of sense. I didn't even think of that because if you don't know what it is to earn that money or make that money and put it back into your work to continue
Exactly.
to build and do that, then potentially you could have a different outlook on why you have said money and what you do with it. So that makes a lot of sense. So with that being said, what does the word fashion mean to you? Because I feel like it means different things to different people. So for you, what does it mean?
Fashion is just a wonderful world that you're a part of if you want to be or not. That's what fashion is to me. There's a lot of movers and shakers. There's just the people that watch the big screen. That's the people that make the screen, and there's people that perform on the screen, and there's the people that are the stars on the screen.
Mhm.
And then there's people in the back that make all the money from y'all watching the screen. So that's just what it is. Fashion, no matter what you do, you're a part of fashion. Everything is fashion, good or bad. It's still fashion.
So after selling your products online for a while, because you were selling online for a few years, you
Mhm.
decided to take the plunge and open a brick and mortar location, your first one, not
Mhm.
knowing what was coming a year after, because I think you did it the year before, if I remember correctly. A year before?
What, a year before what? A year before
That
what?
you opened the store, that you opened.
I opened a store 2019.
Oh, right. So you did the year before the pandemic. Okay. So let me,
Yes, the year before
okay.
pandemic. Yeah, I didn't make a full year, yeah.
The year before, because whenever you say that, people know it's like before the pandemic. So
Wow, it's so scary.
I say that to say you were selling products online for quite some time. So,
Yes.
what was the catalyst to take the leap into opening a brick and mortar location? And then take me through 2019 when you opened it, 2020 when you had to close it, and what you're doing now in 2021.
Okay, so what happened now is that maybe started in 2017, 2018, I started traveling a lot. The brand had enough steam where, people expect something from me all the time.
Mhm.
And if I'm not available, then you can't get it. And it kind of bothered me. If you see me, if you follow me on Instagram, I work a lot. I don't stop. I try to appease my customers to the nth degree. But if I'm out of town, then I get anxiety and I'm like, I can't please my customer. So I'm like, I actually read Rich Dad, Poor Dad's second book, The Cash Flow Quadrants, and he spoke about how going from small business to big business. Because when you're a small business, it's not like you're unemployed. You are super employed. And without you, the business doesn't stand.
Mhm.
For us to transition to true success and wealth, you got to get the big business where you're making money in your sleep. And the only way to have that is where you have something where when you step away, it still continues to thrive and grow. It can walk on its own. So the store was mostly a thing where I'm leaving town. I need a base for people to be able to pick up stuff with or without me. That was the real first reason. And it came to a point where, good people, someone knew the lease manager of the mall. I'm in the Galleria Mall, 2019, and they offered me a spot. I was actually looking for a spot in the Bronx at the time. It was really expensive, and they beat the price by miles. So I went in there, and that was amazing. And then, not even a year later, COVID slaps us in the face, and it was a real dangerous thing. Like I didn't know, like as an entrepreneur already, I didn't know how to survive. And then adding the store, I remember I had an event 2 days before they shut down. It was about to be 2 days, and then they mall Westchester told me first, like, yo, they're gonna shut down. They knew before everybody else knew. And I was like, all right, I gotta cancel the event. And then shoot, it was locked down for so long. And my store only carries independent brands. So a lot of those brands don't even exist no more.
Wow.
And that was like the first start of COVID and everything. And I had a lot of tough decisions to make. I have a printing machine in there that needs to be maintenance every day, and they were shutting down the mall. And I had to wonder if I have to move this machine that weighs. I need 4 people to move it. Like, what am I gonna do? But eventually, I was granted access to go check on the machine
Mhm.
2-3 times a week. Then
Mhm.
it turned into, so it was first the panic. Oh my God, what am I gonna do? Oh, you're not paying rent no more. It's on pause. Great. I have surplus of stock, so of my own stuff. So I'm still able to sell my stuff hand to hand because I have my stuff and all stores are closed. So that was a win up for me.
Mhm.
2, I have the Con Ed is on pause. the rent is on pause, and they're allowing me access to the mall. I was the first person they allowed access. They love me, so they allowed me access. Then eventually they gave everybody else. So I was able to print. So the other little brands that I knew who had no one else, they had me. So anybody that even knew of me before but never really did business with me, they knew like, oh, he's the only one doing it. I gotta mess with him now. So that built my clientele right back up. So as a brand and creator, it definitely survived, but the store was just on pause. And once they pressed play again, a lot of restrictions, it was slow build. As soon as it came back, it kind of climbed for a second, and it came right back down. And it was like, and then we started to see who didn't survive. And boom, boom, boom. Macy's is out of here. Sears is out of here. Against All Odds is out of here. And it just started crumbling. And now where we're at now is I'm actually trying to make a move where that store might close the end of the year, and I'm actually opening a new one. And I'm currently in.
You don't say.
I don't say.
Opening. So wait. So aside from the fact that you opened one pre-pandemic, still managed to keep it up, to stay up while all that was happening. Now you're going on to open your second store. Okay. Now you have to tell me where, when, how. How did this come about? Post-pandemic, pre-pandemic, you were popping. Post-pandemic, you're still popping. How?
So it kind of comes back to the accountant because I paid attention. So during pandemic, Simon McFly and the creator, Mugzy McFly, who makes other people brands, we survived heavily. We did great. I expanded. Everything went up. But the actual store did not. The mall did not. So it's basically like anything. If you have 5 different products and 2 aren't doing good, you have to cut the fat and focus on the other 3. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna get out of the store, but I need to replace, because I need a hub, because that's what I have now. I need to replace that. And originally I always wanted to be home. I wanted to be in the Bronx, but the prices were crazy. But pandemic also helped because pandemic kicked everybody out. So now when they're opening back up, the renters, the landlords are there like, you know, we have these things. They're ready, set, cool. Anybody that comes, if I have a good price, is yours first up to grab. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna start looking. And I found a place that I like, right on a block I used to be on almost every day of the week. I'm magically. And that kind of was like mainly what it was. It was the feel. Like I want to be able to get back to the Bronx. I want to have an event where it's the Bronx. I want to collab with Louis Vuitton and be like, oh, you know what? If y'all want to release this, it has to come to the Bronx first. And let's see the little resellers come line up on White Plains Road. Let's see you do that. And on my block, I dare you.
I feel like you're not too far from that because a lot of those luxe brands are trying to get into, they want to get into the
little markets,
air-quoted urban communities because they feel like that's where it's at, right? So you're not far from that at all. And I feel like with the right movement, you definitely be the person to make that happen. 100%, 110%. So you're both the creative brain and the business operator of Signed by McFly. Unlike most, you can balance both sides of the coin. And so how do you create balance between the two and not do too much of one and not enough of the other?
So it's funny, I kind of divvy up my day like that. Like I think early in the morning, usually I learn that your mind is rested. So graphically creating, it's actually, it's easier. You're refreshed. You're ready to go. So I get up and I be the creator first. That's the first thing I do. And then the business part is, running around, shipping, making like little marketing tools and everything like that, actually appeasing the customer if I have to go to the store. So I try to start my day being creative, but it goes back and forth. Like, sometimes, all creators know it. Like, there's times where you have like creative blocks. I could go, this is one example. I tell people all the time, 1 + 1 is always 2 to the business manager. Well, 1 + 1 to the creative guy might just be 11. It might just be 11 because when you look at it, but that's just me. So I try to balance it. It just happens. Like one day I might spend before the fashion show, a month ago, I might spend 2 days just creating everything I showed, I created in 2 days. Then I'm back to business. All right, let me make sure I pay this person. How long is it gonna get here? Let me do the casting for the show. But I feel like I kind of balance them up and down. I just switch in between each, every day, every moment. not easy to do.
I can't even fathom the thought. I had an interview and we started talking like off to the side, but I spoke with Tom Sachs, who is he's like a huge like creative.
Yes, I love him. I love him. Yes.
A bunch of things. And he said something so interesting. He said a lot of people don't realize that you have to output before you input. So hearing you say that you need to be creative first before you start doing all this other stuff is exactly what he spoke about. He said, because people wake up now and they grab their phones, they're checking emails and they're inputting all this information when they really should be outputting what's in their creative mind first.
Exactly.
So space to take in other stuff. And so I guess that's why you do it so well, because you understand, because you have creative brain, and that's what we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
We have to.
Yeah. There's a method to the madness. There's a science, and you follow that science. And funny, I actually read Erykah Badu saying something like, you're never really in a slump. Like we are balls of energy, and we just need to reset sometimes. If you think, oh my God, what am I creating? And then no, like with fashion, I wouldn't go to a mall to go look at clothes to get inspiration. I go play basketball. I go outside. I go on a trip, and I come back home and it's like, fashion, clothing the brand is from life. So you should go to life to get it. So
Danielle Leapow, hi Danielle, is asking, what is the best way to build exposure and a community for a new brand when funding yourself?
Best way to build exposure. First, what I did, I was my own builder. So for exposure, so in the, I don't know if people still do it this way, but groundwork to me is coming outside. So now, if I'm a designer, I'm gonna indulge myself heavily in the fashion world. Mm-hmm. Any fashion show that's keeping, like let's say you're a new designer and you see my show's keeping and you live in the 5 boroughs, you go head to toe in your stuff and you come to my show. It's gonna be models, other brands, photographers, videographers, networkers, party planners, everybody's there. Look good, get caught on camera, take a picture. That's it. That's the slow grind. Because back in the day, hey, it kind of tied in. It wasn't on purpose, but I used to go to parties and want to take pictures just for my MySpace. But go to parties just to get a new Facebook picture. But now you can use it for something else, because Instagram is your business card. Have that and dress the part over and over. Always one of my favorite quotes is, dress not for the job you have, for the job you want. Mm-hmm. And that's it. If you're a designer, dress in your stuff and look like, yo, I've been doing this. And that's really it. I would say just go outside. Some people might say, go and get the celeb cosigns and stuff like that. Even as far as I've come, I really do not tell people to go that way. It's a very annoying process. It's not as fulfilling as you think. It's fun when it happens organically, of course, because I only do organically. But beating down mailing addresses to send to celebs that not even gonna wear it and their friends get it instead, it's not it, man. It's discouraging. Just build. I kind of compare it to fishing. The celeb is the whale. I'd rather use my bait and catch 100 fish than go chase the whale, because you know what the whale eats? The 100 fish. So if I can make enough noise right here, the celeb gonna see what's going on over here. Where do you think they get their style from? Us.
That is a whole fact. I just had this conversation the other day with a friend of mine, and we were talking about being an influencer versus being influential, and how there's such a difference between the two, that people are no longer going after the influencer, but they're going after those with the influence. So I feel like now celebs are looking at those who are influencing the influencer and going to them instead of talking to them.
Cutting the middleman, yeah.
Yep. So you are spot on. I love that analogy too. Catch the little fish, because the whale's gonna just eat the big fish, 100%.
Yeah.
So you recently got a call that had to do with the Grammys. And so you were in the middle of Grammys 2021, because it was this year, 2021. Yeah. The Grammys called you. What did they call you for, and what did you do? And what was that like when you got the call? Were you like...
Well, I got an email, and then I was like, and then like, we're gonna give you a call. And they gave me a call, and they're like, they're trying to like actually show love to like smaller brands. but I think I might have been the only one from New York, period, maybe. I know for a fact from the Bronx. So it was a big deal. It was like, I think it'd be great for you. I was like, wow, like, but like, it's so funny. So much was going on. I didn't think of it as too much until the outlets started picking it up. And I'm like,
Mhm.
whoa, it's on this channel, this channel. This person asked me about it. And I'm like, whoa, it's a bigger deal than I thought. And like, like they were using my picture for it. There was like 20 brands, but I was the poster boy for it. And I'm like, whoa, like I can imagine, I don't know where my name, whose house my name is in. So it's crazy. That was just crazy. Like it was surreal. It's like that's one of the times when I went whale hunting because I ended up just getting put in the tank with all of them. So that was really good. And like, like I feel like growing up, the Grammy is one of those things that awards that people win that is so big. Probably the only other award I can think of that's bigger than that, like an NBA championship. The Grammys is one of those things, just the name of it. Like you could have never watched the Grammys, but you know what a Grammy is. And it was just amazing to be, and my name be attached to that in the same sentence.
So if you could go back and tell yourself one thing right now, right before you launched your brand, what would it be? If you could tap yourself on the shoulder.
It's a good question. It's funny, there's not much I would tell myself. You said right before. The one thing I would say is I would say start ASAP. Like start ASAP. That's what I would have said first. But if it's right before, if it's still 2013, before the summer, I'd be like, just go all out. Don't doubt yourself at all. Focus, put your blinders on. Because things we do, which I hate even more because of the internet, is that we compare. And I've seen people online look like they have it all together and they're so amazing. And then when I meet them in person, it's like, that's the only shirt you own. Like, you don't have a brand. That's the only shirt you own. And people forget that Instagram is a highlight reel and people aren't like accustomed to showing their failures. So you only see the good. You only see the makeup. You only see the body contour. You don't see what it really is, So I would say, just focus on self. Your only competition is you. Try to beat yourself, your yesterday self, your last year self, and you'll get progress. Because consistency is everything. I know people that were hot for one summer and they're gone.
Nice. So Isabel Marant, who is like a big designer, she said something super, and it made me think about this. The pandemic is giving more time to designers to experience new ways of showing clothes and expressing different styles. More and more, I feel like there's not one trend, but different ways of approaching fashion. The more diverse it is, the more interesting it is for me. That's what she's saying. So, how has the pandemic changed your work ethic, if any? And has it made you look at fashion and designing differently? And has it made you design something that's outside of the scope of what you've been designing before?
I just know now that like the functionality of clothing. So like I feel during the pandemic is more so like everybody wants to be comfortable because they were so used to being at home. You don't go into the office. You're never going outside. You're sleeping more. So it was more so cozy. I pride myself of saying I'm a cozy boy, as in I dress comfortable all the time. I play sports, so I hate jeans. I don't wear jeans pants. If I wear jeans pants, I was forced to wear it. I don't wear jeans at all. And everybody I know knows that. If they see me in jeans, they're like, where are you going? You're not going to an interview. What club you going to that you can't get in with sweats? Because you're not wearing no jeans. So it kind of taught me to like, match like the energy you're trying to give. Like it could look good. It has to feel good. It has to match like what's going on. Like everybody doesn't always want to dress up. Everybody wants to be comfortable and they look good at the same time. And the pandemic kind of brought that into me. It also, I dropped my sneaker my first sneaker during the pandemic. So it also tied in, which was tough, but I did well. I did very well with the first sneaker. So, it just taught me that, you can do anything. And one major thing is that we are us here at the bottom, and I'll say the Bronx. I live in an ungentrified part of the Bronx. It's still mom and pop stores, and now I know that we are the backbone. We are what's needed because when everything shuts down, all the basic businesses and everything, little patty store might open for everybody certain days of the week. The
Mhm.
other Jamaican store might open. Like the cleaners will open because he knows everybody in the block. Like that community, we survive together. And there's still strength in that. And that community bond and being homegrown is very, very essential and is what's needed if you really, really want to survive. A lot of people do these things and they can't go back home. And I don't ever want to be that guy.
Nice. Wait, so you said you launched your first sneaker.
Yeah, August 26, 2020.
So can you tell me a little bit about the shoe? Can we see the shoe? Where can we get the shoe? And what's the story?
I have to get it. It's I don't have it right here next to me. The shoe, you can get it on Simon McFly.com. You can also get it in the gallery at Cloud Control. That sneaker, it's like a sock build. Actually, if you really want me to go get it, I could go get it right now.
That's up to you. Or
I'll get it. I'll get it. I'll get it. I want to get it. Let me get it.
this is an opportunity. So when someone asks these type of questions, it's either do I get it, do I not get it? He's opting to get it because he thinks you guys should see it.
Okay, so
Wow.
this is my very first sneaker. So I'll tell you something about this sneaker. Okay, this actually is of the times because it's a very comfortable sock-like shoe, futuristic. I love Batman. Somebody said it'd be dope if Batman wore this in like a movie. It's like, wow. So when I'm designing this, I was thinking cozy. It's flying it upper. You could just push your foot into it. It's really spacious up here, this whole part. I play basketball, so I usually put on some slides after playing a game, and it's like, I don't want to feel no tension on my foot. I want to be loose. But obviously you don't walk around barefoot or in socks. But this might be the closest thing I'll get to having socks on. And then also, I was really like, I didn't grow up rich or anything. So, even island people, we had limited amount of shoes. And one thing our parents would do is they'll get us black-based shoes because we won't mess them up as fast. So I'm always been prone to like, black goes with everything and it doesn't get messy, it doesn't look bad. So I did black first. And also, I'm a huge fan of Michael Jordan. And I know that his colorways were always the black and red. I adopted my own color. Everybody knows my color is orange. So I toned it down, mostly black, hint of orange. And then this whole cage right here is reflective since, like I said before, I'm a party promoter. If you go in the club with this, these things dance. Literally, they dance, they light up, and you will get the attention. And I have people buy them and then take a picture with them and say, yo, why you didn't tell me they reflect? And I'm like, you got to figure that out yourself, homie. But yeah, so that was my first step with that. And I kind of want to bridge the gap. So I know a lot of people that don't do anything high fashion, and that's more so high fashion. And I know people that's high fashion, but don't want to break the bank. So I came right in the middle. Here, sneakers affordable at $200. It looks like $1 million. So you guys will still wear it. And then these guys who never tried it before because of me, they get introduced to it. So it's right here in the middle ground where you could be bougie and you could be ghetto or whatever. It's right there in the middle.
So now do you have a second shoe?
I have, okay. See, you spicy. You spicy. So I also have that shoe in white, which that one I'm not gonna go for because we're gonna go to the second shoe. But then I went left foot kind of back home. And this is my second shoe. These aren't out yet. I'm aiming to release these maybe Halloween. This is actually an ode to Kanye West, the Wave Runners. That's why these colors are picked: gray, orange, green, blue. I just changed my hues a little bit. That's my favorite shoe. And I remember the shoe dropped and people didn't like it. They could all front now because it dropped 4 times and now they like it, but they didn't like it. I got them with ease for retail, which is impossible nowadays. So once I seen the sneaker one time, I was like, yeah, I love it. So I was like, I want to kind of take that shoe and go Super Saiyan. So I added all the components. I found a sole that I liked that was really louder, a lot louder than his, but not too far off. I wanted to kind of be like wild with a little zebra striping. And I'm a 90s kid, I'm nostalgia. And 95, 96, 97, 98, those years are like golden years for me. So it kind of plays off of like the 9-5 lacing system. And then quietly, I just have my logo at the top. So, and the final design, this is actually like the last prototype, but these laces will also reflect, because like I said, nightlife. So yeah, these are coming out end of the month.
Nice. Nice. So I like how when you talk about you speak about your designs, you tell the details have special meanings to you. Like the
it
nightlife.
needs to be honest. Like if I'm gonna add, like I could add a million components, but why? Like if I'm just a regular Joe that works 9 to 5, I'm gonna wear, and I have the sneakers, and when am I gonna ever see it reflect anyway? If you see me on social media, I'm out all times of the night. I go out as soon as I try. The first shoe reflects me completely, because I try to be quiet, but as soon as I walk into a spot, people know who I am. The shoe is black. As soon as the lights come on, it starts dancing. It's like, oh, so that kind of played off for me. And then this is just more so like, it's safe, but the color coordination and the selection of the tones and the materials is left. So the details. So once we get close, it's like, wait a minute, which is kind of more like me as well. So it has to project me. That's the only way it's honest.
So you recently took a trip to Egypt, which I was watching your Instagram and Insta stories. It looked absolutely amazing.
Amazing. Wow.
I feel like that's on everyone's travel bucket list. Can you tell me about that trip? And did it inspire your fashion sense at all? And even further, because you travel a lot, what city inspires you creatively the most?
Okay, so Egypt was amazing. And the whole idea of the pyramids is really like surreal. To actually see it, you hear the stories of how it was brought there, and me to actually speak to the Egyptian person and tell me exactly, and show exactly the pathways it took, and to go inside it and be in a tomb. It's like, wow, the machinery used now, and these people use their bare hands. Is really crazy, and it's inspirational. Like I said, I actually really, really fell in love heavily with hieroglyphics. Like that stuff really, like I seen the first like the calendar and everything, like the afterlife stuff, why there's lucky 7, and horoscopes is taken from Horus, and all type of stuff, like how they change things and market it a different way, but it all comes from one source, and they just make it their own, and it's just really amazing. Like actually seeing a wonder of the world and being inside of one of them is crazy. And yeah, it's real inspirational. Egypt is a great place. I would advise anybody to go there. Make sure you have a guide. Make sure you convert your money, and do not rent a car, because Egypt, they do not obey those traffic lanes, and they don't have any crosswalks. Do not cross the street alone or run. I stopped at 2 lights and I was there for a week. 2 lights. My Uber stopped at 2 lights. 2. Also, they do not.
I'm intrigued.
They do not sell hard liquor anywhere except unless you go to like a hotel. Every place outside of the hotel, no hard liquor, just beer and wine. I was looking for Henny. I couldn't get none. Some guy tried to sell me Jack Daniels on the table, but I didn't want the Jack Daniels. Yeah, but it's really inspirational. I would say you go there, you might want to spend one day to travel to Luxor, which is like a little bit like further out of Egypt. You could actually catch a flight. It's like not even an hour. Or you go to Alexandria. I went there. That's the place I took in front of the big castle. But it's amazing to see like a castle, a pyramid, like things you see in books, and you can walk around these things, and it's like $3 to get in. It's like, what? It's surreal. And to answer your other part of the question, I do get inspiration from everywhere. I actually end up buying jewelry from Egypt, which they're really big on gold, amazing. And I'm not even the kind of person who like gold and jewelry, but I had to. It meant something to me. And I'm designing a shirt. I already designed a shirt. I just didn't print it yet. And the other part of the question, like inspiration from places, I would probably say Japan might have been the most inspirational, like design wise. Like it sounds like, I know a lot of people like Japan, but I've been there, and like walking around the area where everywhere I've been has a little New York. Like everywhere I've been has a section that you turn the block and you're like, wait a minute, am I home again? And they inspire to be like us. But their style is so like, they cut the fat. We'll have all levels of, if you're going to participate in fashion, you'll have a couple of people that is high level, care sometime. In Japan, I feel like if they're in it, if anybody's in it, they're in it to the top, and they're not playing. They don't play at all. And I also like going places like Japan because they treat Black people like we are superstars. Everywhere I go, someone wants to take a picture of me. The kids are running up on me. It's great. I love it. I'm not gonna lie. I would stay in Japan for 2 months if I could financially, just to take it in.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What advice would you give to young designers, and not even young designers, just people in general who want to design? Because I feel like now we're at a point where people have been working jobs that they were programmed to do for so long, like go to school, do this job. And a lot of people have aspirations to do other things.
Mm-hmm.
And so what advice would you give them, unsure of where to start? How would you tell them to kind of jump in and get it?
Before they jump in, I said, make sure you love this, because you have to love this. And the second part, I would say, you have to treat this like school. I love to use this analogy because it's like, automatically people, you start a business and people expect you to be successful, your first pop-up shop, your first release, your first drop, your first year. And that's not real. It doesn't work like that. In all arts, even being a rapper, anything, even being a teacher, like anything, you're not gonna be good immediately out the gate when it involves talent. And I feel like we should treat it like school, because your first year of college, no one is worrying about you making money till your last year. Why do I get 4 years of time to learn to work for somebody else, and I get the leisure of, okay, it's okay. But when I decide to work for myself, I can't get the same respect. If anything, I should get more. I mean, imagine someone gave me, St. John's I probably owe them 50, 60,000. I don't know. They might not ever get it. 50, 60K. Imagine someone gave me 60, 50K and said 4 years, figure it out. You know where I would be right now? I'm pretty good now. I'd be beyond. And it's just weird. So I said, respect your craft, love it. So the sleepless nights, you could actually make it through and you won't give up. Because if you could do it for free, then you could do it for real. And that's just it. I'll do that fashion show for free. The last year when I did for the pandemic, I made nothing. I paid everyone. I made absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Booking the venue, free food, everything. I just wanted to put on a good show, presentation, and call it a day. But this year, of course, it was way better. Crowds came back, so I was blessed. But last year, I made nothing. You got to do it for the love. And I feel like you got to fall out of love with money, because it's not about the money. It's about the value. It's the people, it's the connection. It's the purpose. If you only love money, once the money's not in there, then you're defeated. So don't do it for the money. I didn't go to school for fashion. I love fashion. So I was able to dedicate time and effort to become a fashionable guy.
Nice. And what's next for Mugzy McFly and Signed by McFly?
Okay, so right now, of course, McFly Studios, this is the space I'm in now. I'm in the design section of the studio, where I do brand consulting. People come in to speak to me, and whatever you need for your brand, down to me, just you could draw on a piece of paper. We'll make logos from here to get it to digital, to make it the fabric, the clothing, whatever. I actually print on site right here. I outsource a bunch of other things. I meet with manufacturers overseas, China, Portugal, Pakistan. And then the other room is my showroom where I sell my clothing. So I plan to open up the end of the month, and by appointment only. You could, depending on what day it is, you could walk in, but you book your appointment. If you order something online, we'll give you the time to come pick it up if you don't want to have it shipped. So I just want to tap back into, here, because I come from the party scene and people will hit me in the middle of Friday, like, I need this for tomorrow, I'm going out. And I want to please those people. I want to have that. I feel like anywhere in the Bronx, besides Fordham Road, you can really go and shop. And even now, where Fordham is oversaturated, where it's just mid-level. It might just be only Nike and Adidas and those things. No people that live on Fordham can sell their stuff on Fordham. I don't think that even exists at this point. So why not? I feel like I'm big enough and I do quality stuff enough that I could give back to my community directly, and they'll support it.
So basically, if there's a smaller brand and they're looking to make some things, they can come to you and they can bring their design and say, hey, I need 10 t-shirts that they want to do something with, and you can help them create that so that they can sell or be, I guess, ready to wear.
Yep.
And then they can wear them.
I've made a whole brand. I've done I do one-on samples. I do a whole brand. And I also do like school stuff, basketball stuff, sadly, RIP memorial stuff, family reunions. I've done all of it. So anything you need design-wise, I've done. Even the promotional tools like business cards, flyers, posters, banners, I do that as well. So everything creative that you can think of.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm excited to see what you do next. And I'm going to share your information actually with some of our streetwear students, because I know streetwear fashion and even probably some sneakers, because a lot of them are smaller brands looking to do exactly what it is that you're doing, and they're looking for the assistance. And so I would love to give them your information just so you can assist.
I'm an open book. I answer all my DMs. I'm still able to do that at this moment, so I still do it. If you want some advice on something, come and ask. All I ask from you is that you actually try first. One of the worst questions I always get is like, "Oh, what's the best T-shirt to use?" And it's like, that's subjective. What do you want? Do you want it soft? Do you want it oversized? Do you want it thick? Do you want a big collar? It depends. So I hate when someone comes to me with just that. It's like, maybe you're just working for the money and you're like, let me just get the best T-shirt I could possibly have so I make money. But no, what do you want? What is your brand? What is your mood? Like, be real, love it. We even if I don't notice it out the gate, eventually someone will notice that you're not about it and it won't work for you. Like money grabs are real blatant nowadays. So, be up it if you really want to do it. And if you just like fashion, you don't want to be in a brand, there's many ways to participate in this world. And and I also another thing I really, really, really want to help, even if you don't need me to create, I want to help brand management and like promotion, because I feel like a lot of people have the creative mind, but not the professionalism and the marketing and the customer service and stuff like that. And I feel like I have that background and I love to help people with that. Like, we need a marketing scheme. I make commercials for my own stuff. Let's go. I have a rollout for everything.
Perfect. Please drop your socials. Tell them where to find you, where to DM him. And please make sure when you DM him that you have your ideas in order.
So my website is Simon McFly. I'm Mugzy McFly with a Z, Mugzy, MCFLY, everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Gmail, Hotmail, AOL. I'm everywhere with that name. I love to help other people because I didn't have that person to go to when I was coming up, so I want to be that person I need.
Emily said, thank you. Appreciate your time. Incredibly cool session tonight.
Always, no problem.
Well, guys, it was a pleasure having this chat with you, and I guess we'll see you soon. Good night.
Later, guys.